Hello and welcome to Module 3. In this module we're going to be doing our first bookmaker sign up. In this case it's going to be Tab, and we'll also be placing our first profitable trade. However, before we get into the practical examples of this module, we do need to quickly talk about bankroll. Now for our case, bankroll is basically just the amount of money that we have available to trade with. And this is what's covered in Module 4, the next module, where we cover how to trade if you have a bankroll as small as $200 up to bankrolls that are $1,000 plus. Now, because this module, Module 3, doesn't take you through how to trade with a smaller bankroll, it means that if you had a bankroll of say $200, which we would consider a small bankroll, you probably won't have enough to be able to follow along directly with the practical example in this module, because this module is designed for an average bankroll, which is somewhere between $400 to $600. So for those of you with a smaller bankroll, around $200, or less than 400, then what you need to do is just continue to follow along with Module 3. Do your best to try to get an understanding of what's going on in the module and some of the basic concepts covered. And then once you're ready, move on to Module 4, where I will take you through what to do if you do have a smaller bankroll. If you're unsure at this point, if you have a bankroll that's big enough or not to be able to follow along with the practical examples in this module, then you can continue to follow along, and we will get to a point where we will know exactly how much we're going to need in order to execute our trade. And I will point it out to you when we arrive at that point so that you can know definitively whether or not you have enough in your bankroll to be able to follow through with the trade. Now, the first thing we want to do is head over to the Tab homepage, and you're going to go ahead and click Join in the top right hand corner, and that'll take you straight to the sign up page. Now, with filling out your details at the top here, you need to keep in mind that you're going to be verifying these details against your license, as you can see a little bit further down where it says verify your identity. So you need to make sure that all the details you enter are exactly the same as what is written on your license. And then you know that once you enter in your license details and they check those details against your license, you're going to have no problem verifying and creating the account. Under contact details, you'll want to put your main phone number and your main email. This is because when bookmakers send their promotional offers, they will send them primarily through text and through email. And when they send them through, you want to make sure you'll be able to see them. Another thing you'll want to do is keep track of your passwords and security questions, especially because we'll be signing up with a fair few bookmakers and we'll be having a unique password for each of them. Now, it will also ask you whether or not you'd like to set a deposit limit. I generally opt not to have a deposit limit set, just because it's much easier if you get future deposit offers that you're not limited in any way. But if you feel that you guys would like to set one, then you can go right ahead. And then once you've double checked everything, you can go ahead and click create account. And then it should come up with account created. And what you want to do is also make sure you keep a record of your account number and some of this other information. And then we'll just head on over to the Tab homepage. And the first thing we want to do is head over to the menu, and under our account, we want to make sure that we have no outstanding actions. As you can see here, we have one, which is to verify the email. So we'll make sure that we have anything that needs to be done there finished before we start depositing and placing bets. And once you've made sure that everything is verified, and if you did have a problem verifying when you were signing up for the account, and you've managed to do everything else but verify the account, you'll want to make sure that your identity and anything that you need to verify is completely done before you go ahead and continue to follow along with me in depositing and placing bets. Just because if the account is not fully verified, you can't actually withdraw from the account. And, you know, the last thing we want to happen is that you have money stuck in the bookmaker. So once we've headed back to the home page, we'll be able to see here on the right that we have a deposit offer. So if we go ahead and just click add funds, and that should take you straight through to the deposit page. And you'll see a banner up the top here that says, if you make a deposit in the next 7 days, we will match you in bonus bets up to $100. So what that means is that any amount that you deposit up to $100 will be matched with bonus bets. So if we deposited $50 into the account, we'd get an additional $50 in bonus bets also in the account. For this deposit, of course, we're going to do the maximum amount because we want the maximum amount of bonus bets, because that's where we're going to be making our money, is by turning over that bonus bet. And the more we deposit, the more money we make. And then once the deposit has gone through, you should see a message there telling you that you have received the $100 in bonus bets. So now that we've clicked back to the tab homepage, the first thing we're going to do is turn over our bonus bet for a profit. And we're going to do this by placing our first sports trade, more specifically a bonus trade. Now, to do this, we're going to need to use two different tools. The first is the bonus trade calculator, and that can be found on the Winning Edge website. And I'll show you how to navigate to that and how to use it as we go along. The second is the ATM. This is a tool made by Bonus Bank, and what it does is it takes all of the odds from the bookmaker and it takes all of the odds from the betting exchange. It compares the two and then shows you where the most profitable trades are. And if we head over to menu and we go into our account and our bonuses, we'll see here that we have the $100 in bonus bets, and then we also have the $100 in cash that we deposited. And the next thing we'll do is head over to Bonus Bank. So to do that, we'll head back to the Module 3 homepage. And there should be a link just there. Here we'll need to sign up for a free account, and once we've done that, we'll be able to access the ATM. And the next thing we want to do is open the ATM. So to do that, we'll head back to the home page and we'll just click on the link that says Bonus Bank ATM. So the first thing we're going to do is set up the calculator to our specifications. And we'll start by heading over to the column titled SNR. And what we'll do is we'll just keep clicking on that until we get one downward arrow. Then the next thing we're going to do is head over to the bookmaker column and we'll select the drop down menu and we'll click on tab. And the last thing you'll do is select the market drop down menu and you will select match odds. So now that that's done, we can start to take a look at the layout of the ATM. And if we go over to the far right, we'll see the liquidity column. Under here, it's just showing you the amount of money available at each lay price of each selection. So for example, in the top one, AC Milan, it's telling us that there is $596 available at the lay price of $3.35. And this is exactly the same as what we covered in Module 2. It's just that Bonus Bank has taken the data from Betfair and they've presented it here in the ATM. Now, if we head over to the SNR column and we click on the heading there until we get one downward arrow right next to it, what we'll see under there is a column of green boxes, and the numbers inside these boxes represent the percentage return you will receive on your bonus bet. So if we were to place our $100 bonus trade on this selection here, that means we would make $76.15. Now, it is a percentage value, so if we were to place a $200 bonus trade, then we would make $152.30. Now we'll head over to lay odds and we'll set our maximum at 8. I'll go into a little more detail about why we're doing this when we go through the actual calculations of the trade. But essentially, the higher the lay odds or the lay price that you're placing your trade on, the more money that you're going to need in your Betfair account. And now that we've set up the calculator and we roughly know what's going on, we can start looking for what selection we want to make our trade on. So if you head over to the right and you put your cursor over the liquidity of each of these selections, you'll see a little black banner comes up that says max back stake. And in this case, it says $84.36. Now, essentially what that means is that the max amount of back stake, in our case, it's our bonus bet that we can place on this particular trade, on this particular selection, is $84.36. So this top one here is not going to work for us because our back stake is 100. Our bonus bet is 100. So if we head on down a little bit more to the next one, we'll see that the max back stake on this one is 117. Now that's perfect for us. That's more than enough. We only need the 100. And the last thing we need to make sure of is that our return on our bonus bet is at least 70%. Now, if you have a look under the SNR column, you'll see the green numbers that represent our return. So on our selection here, we have $70.37 as our return. That's perfect. That puts us up over our threshold of 70%, and we can go ahead with that trade. Now, if you're struggling to find a selection that is giving you above 70%, that's okay. But moving forward, we really want to try and get at least 70% return on our bonus bets as a general rule. So now that we've ticked all our boxes, we'll start by heading over to Betfair. And first we'll just copy one of the teams or both of the teams. And then we'll head over to Betfair and paste it in the search bar there. And once we're on our market, we'll find our selection and we'll just click the lay bet option. And if you need to, go back to Bonus Bank and double check that you've got the right one. And then we're going to head over to Tab and do the same thing. And sometimes for Tab, when you paste in both teams into the search bar, it won't come up. In that case, we'll just go back and we'll just copy one team and paste it, and it should work. Now, if you get a little banner there on Tab telling you that the price has changed, that doesn't matter too much. What you want to do is just head back over to Bonus Bank and make sure you refresh the ATM. And if your selection has still come up that it's over 70%, over $70 profiting, then that's fine. You can stick with that one. But if it's ducked below and it's at 60 something or lower, then you'll want to go with a selection that's above 70. So you might have to redo the steps that we just did there. But with this one, we're all good. The odds on the bookmaker have remained at $6. Then we'll head back to the module homepage and we'll click on the bonus trade calculator link. Now, what this calculator does is it tells us how much we need to put on our lay bet in order to make the same profit no matter the outcome of the trade. So now we'll go ahead and fill in all the necessary fields. The first one we'll start with there is the back odds. So we'll head over to tab, double check that it's correct. And you can see the odds aren't matching up here. So as a rule, you really want to make sure that you're looking at the odds on the bet slip, not necessarily on the market itself. So as you can see here, it says $6 on the bet slip and it says $5.50 on the market. That's just because the market hasn't caught up yet to the real price. It will load in eventually, but yeah, you want to make sure that you're looking at the odds on the bet slip. Then we'll do the lay odds. So we'll head on over to Betfair and double check it's still 680. And for the bonus bet stake, we know that we're going to be doing 100. And then lastly, we'll check the Betfair commission on this particular market. And as we've covered before, we'll go over to Betfair and we'll click the little I rules tab. And then you should see it come up with 5% at the bottom there. Now, yours could be different. Mine just happens to be 5% because it's a football market. And when you're entering the commission on the calculator, you need to enter it as a decimal, not a percentage. So for this case, where the lay commission is 5%, we're going to write in 0.05. And once you've entered your commission and clicked enter, you should see your lay stake come up there at the bottom. And in this case, we have a lay stake of $74.07. Now, something else that you will have seen come up at the bottom there is the liability, or on your calculator, it should say amount needed in Betfair account in brackets liability. Now, this number is important for those of you who are not sure if they have enough bankroll to be able to go through with the trade, like we mentioned earlier in the module. So in order to calculate exactly how much money you'll need to be able to go through with a particular trade, so for a bonus trade example, it's pretty simple to calculate how much bankroll you're going to need in order to carry out a trade. And it's basically just the number there at the bottom that says amount needed in Betfair account. For a qualifying trade, you'll need to do it slightly differently. You just need to take that number that you have there at the bottom, the amount needed in Betfair account, in brackets a liability, and add the back stake. So if you're doing a bonus trade, you just need to take a look at the number at the bottom there. So for my example, here I have an amount needed in Betfair account of $429.63. For this bonus trade here, that is the total amount of bankroll that I need. Because, as I said before, when we are calculating how much bankroll that we need for a bonus trade, we don't need to include the back stake, simply because a bonus bet doesn't really represent any real money. Now, if we're doing the qualifying trade, we just take that same number, the liability, and we add our back stake. Now, if you do that calculation for either your bonus trade or your qualifying trade, and you find that you don't have enough bankroll to be able to follow through with the trade, then I recommend that you just continue to watch along with this module, try to get a good understanding of what's happening in the module, and then move on to module 4, where we cover how to place trades when you have a smaller bankroll. So now we can start entering in our stakes for our back and lay bets. And the first thing we'll do is head over to tab, and click on the little plus bonus bets icon there. And then we'll select our $100 bonus bet. Then we'll head back to the calculator and we'll copy the lay stake, and then we'll head over to Betfair and paste it in. The next thing we want to do is head back to the calculator, and we need to double check everything here. So we'll start by going to the back odds. We'll check the back odds on the calculator, head over to the bookmaker, make sure they're good. We'll do the same with the lay odds, make sure they're all right. And then we'll make sure that our bonus bet is correct. We'll head over to Betfair again and click the little I and make sure that our commission is right. And then we'll make sure also that our lay stake is correct. And then the last thing you want to do is go to the very bottom of the calculator and you'll see a number there under liability. And what we want to do is make sure that that number is the same as the liability listed on our lay bet. So once we've got everything double checked and we're confident that everything's good, we'll first head over to tab and we'll click bet now, confirm bet, and then it should come up with a tick there confirming that the bet has gone through. You need to make sure that the bet has gone through before you move on. Once that's good, we can head over to Betfair and then we'll click place bet and confirm bet, and we'll just double check that that bet has gone through and it's listed under matched bets. If the entire lay bet that you tried to put through is listed under unmatched bets instead of matched bets like it is here, then what you want to do is click the button that says cancel unmatched above. And once you've done that and cancelled your unmatched bet, you can go back to the calculator and enter the new changed lay odds. And then once you've done that, you can recalculate your lay stake according to the new lay odds and place your new lay bet. But if instead part of your lay stake has gone through and is listed under matched bets, and then the rest of your lay stake has not gone through and is listed under unmatched bets, then what you'll need to do is head over to the sublesson titled partially matched bets. And there you'll be able to get the rest of your lay bet matched so that it matches the back bet that you've just placed. So now if we head back to the bonus trade calculator, under the if back bet wins and if lay bet wins, they should be the same. The number under there is the amount of money that we just made. Now, although the event that we just placed the trade on has not happened yet, we know exactly how much we're going to make because we've placed our bets in a way that it doesn't matter which team wins, we're going to make the exact same amount no matter the outcome. So now a couple of days have passed and I'm just going to show you guys what it looks like when the bets have actually come through and you can see how much profit you've made. Now, you will also need to keep a log of these bets. If you want to do that yourself, that's fine. I also have a video that will be in the sublesson of this module that covers a spreadsheet that I use and actually how to enter in all of your bets as well. Now to look at the bet we've placed on tab, we're going to head over to menu, my account, and then my bets. And as long as you tick in the last 7 days, you should see your bet come up there. Now, in this case, our bet has actually lost. And again, this has no effect on our profit whatsoever. It just means that our profit is actually going to land in Betfair instead of tab. So to see that, we'll head over to Betfair and we'll click on my account my bets. Then we'll make sure that we check settled because the bet has concluded. And then again, we'll head over to the date range and we'll set it to 7 days. If it's been longer for you, then set it accordingly. Now I know I've got a lot of bets here, but we should be able to see our bet just there. And it says it's won and it's made $74.07. Now that number's a little different from what the calculator said was our profit. That's because the number there doesn't include the 5% commission. So if you take the 5% off that, you'll get our $70.37 profit. So essentially what's happened is we've placed our bonus bet, our $100 bonus bet with Tab, and that bet has lost. But as we know, it's a bonus bet. It's not real money. So we haven't actually lost any money from that. And then we go over to Betfair and we've won $70.37, which leaves us at a total profit for that trade of $70.37, as was shown in the calculator before the event even happened. So now that we've made our profit from our bonus trade, the next thing we need to do is to turn over, which means to bet with, our $100 deposit that we put into our Tab account. Now, the reason we need to do this is because all bookmakers require that whatever money you deposit into the bookmaker account needs to be turned over, bet with, at least once before it can be withdrawn. Now, normally, if we were just gambling, this would be a problem because we could bet with the $100, but obviously there's a chance that we could lose. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to do another sports trade. This time though, it's going to be slightly different. This time it's going to be what we call a qualifying trade. And essentially what that means is we're doing the same thing that we did with the bonus trade, except in the bonus trade where we had one side was a bonus bet and the other side was cash, this time both sides of the sports trade are going to be in cash. So we're going to do a $100 cash bet on Tab, and then we're going to calculate our lay stake according to that and place a lay bet directly against that $100. So this means we're going to be able to turn over, bet with, our $100 that we have in our Tab account without being at risk of losing it if the bet doesn't go our way. So again, to start off, we're going to head back to the module homepage and we're going to click on the link to take us to the ATM. Once we're here, we want to go straight over to the right hand side, and where we normally would have clicked the SNR column until we had one downward arrow, we're going to do that with the SR column this time instead. And then again, we're going to set our bookmaker to Tab. We're going to set our stake to 100. We'll set our market to matched odds and then double check, make sure that SR column has one downward arrow. Now, instead of seeing the green boxes that we see over there under the SNR column, we're going to see a column of red boxes. Now, this is to tell us that we are actually going to lose money on this trade. And the value in those red boxes is the amount we will lose. Now, this is basically just the cost of turning over the money that we have in the bookmaker account. Now, generally what we aim for is 5% or less. And as you can see here at the top, we've got, $2.93, $3.36, $4.12. These are all below our 5% maximum, which is the maximum we want to lose. So in this scenario, if the red box were to have a number that was greater than $5, which is greater than 5% on our $100 bet, then we would consider that too much. Now, if the only trades currently available to you are over 5%, it's okay, but as a general rule, you really want to keep your percentage loss on qualifying trades below 5%. So if we look at some of our options, the top one here is an NBA game, and it has a loss of $2.93. Now, that's under our $5, so that's good. But if we head over to the right and we hover over the liquidity, we're going to see that it says max back stake $70.47. Now, that means that we can't do that one because max back stake is the max bookmaker bet you can place on this particular trade. So if we head down a little bit to a Premier League game, you can see there's plenty of money there with a max back stake, a max bookmaker bet of $5,064. And then if we look across, we'll see that our loss is $3.36. Perfect. That's below 5. So we can go ahead with this trade. And then same as last time, we'll copy one of the teams and we'll start by heading over to Betfair. Paste that in. And make sure you double check who the game is against, because obviously you can have one team playing multiple games. And then we'll head over to Tab and we'll do the same thing. Remember to only paste one team in, especially with Tab, because if you paste in both of the teams on the event, then often it actually won't come up. And then go back and check under the bet column which team you'll actually be trading on. In this case, it's Man City. And then we'll head back over to Betfair and we'll make sure that we select Man City as well. And remember, you're clicking the pink box on Betfair, not the blue one. The pink box is the lay bet. And then we'll head back to the module homepage, and this time we'll click the qualifying trade calculator. And then for our back odds, our bookmaker odds, we'll head to Tab. And then with our lay odds, we'll head over to Betfair. Our back stake, which is the bookmaker bet amount, we know that's going to be 100. And then same as last time, the late commission, we head over to Betfair, we click the little I, and then down the bottom it should tell us what our late commission is. And then once we click enter, it's going to tell us our lay stake, which in this case is $101.72. So we'll copy that and then we'll head back over to Betfair and we'll paste that on our selection. So now that we've done that, we're ready to do our final checks again, which is exactly the same as last time. We'll start with the back odds. We'll take a look at them on the calculator, reference that with what we have on Tab. Remember again, if the odds have changed and there's a little banner in yellow, or the odds on the bet slip are different at all from the odds on the main display, always look at the bet slip. Always look at the spot where you're entering the amount that you want to bet, because those are the real odds. And we do the same with the lay odds. Head over to Betfair, double check that it's still $1.21. And then with the stake, we know it's 100, so we'll enter that on Tab. we go and check our lay commission again, double check that we got it right. We'll double check that our lay stake on Betfair is correct at $101.72 in this case. And then finally, one of the most important ones is checking the liability, and then we'll head over to Betfair, and under our bet it should say there liability, and it needs to match that exactly. Sometimes there's, you know, a 1 or 2 cent difference, but that's okay. That's just the rounding of the calculator. So now that we've checked everything against the calculator and we know that our trade is good, we can go ahead and start placing the bets. Same as last time, we're going to start with the bookmaker. And we'll click bet now, confirm, and we make sure we get that little green banner that says that the bet has been placed and it's gone through. And then we'll head over to Betfair. We'll click place bet, confirm bet. And then we make sure that we see it under that little heading, matched bets. And that's how we know that it's gone through. If it hasn't gone through, then it will be listed under a similar banner but says unmatched bets. And if you do have an unmatched bet, that's usually because the lay price has moved. And that's fine. All you need to do is just cancel that unmatched bet and then have a look at what the price has changed to. Enter that back in the calculator and then redo your lay stake based on the new changed lay odds. So now if we head back to our qualifying trade calculator, and I'll also pull up the bonus trade calculator, and we can have a look and compare here to see how much money we've actually made. So on our bonus trade, we made $70.37, as you can see here. And then on our qualifying trade, we lost $3.36. And that gives us a total profit of $67.01. Now, your profit might have been a little bit higher or lower than that, but it doesn't really matter too much. So moving ahead with the next modules, we're pretty much going to be doing the exact same thing as we've done here, just with different bookmakers. And as we go and we repeat this process with a few different bookmakers, I will try to explain a little bit more with each bookmaker that we go through and we turn over our profit, so that hopefully by the end, once you've signed up to several different bookmakers and done several bonus trades and qualifying trades, that you'll have enough of an understanding to be able to go ahead and do this yourself with whatever bookmakers you want to sign up with and start placing trades. So that's it for this module. If you guys had any problems with some of the terminology mentioned in this module, then you can head over to lesson resources and there's a glossary there at the bottom. If you had any other questions about any of the concepts covered in this video or anything else, then you can head over to the module description and you'll see a link there that will take you straight to the help email.